Hello legends. So OpenAI just dropped 5 incredible new voices for the Realtime API. This is bringing them steps closer to competing with all the major voice solutions on the market. And these voices actually have a little bit more range, so it's going to make your real-time AI caller just that much more dynamic. Now, if you've been following my previous tutorials, where we spoke about integration, spoke about function calling, spoke about using Make.com as our backend automation assistant, you may have seen a lot of comments asking about how to deploy the assistant in different languages. So in today's video, we're going to be comparing those 5 new voices. We're going to compare them in different languages. I'm going to show you how to integrate it into your real-time API assistant, and we're going to be listening out for just how well they handle more emotion and more tone. Now, if you're new here, you have nothing to worry about. I'm going to link all the previous videos in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and check them out whenever you're ready. Otherwise, get ready to be blown away by just how natural these voices sound. Let's get into it. So over in platform.openai.com, which is the same platform you use to access the OpenAI backend, if I go across to changelog, I can see here that on the 30th of October, OpenAI added 5 new voice types for the Realtime API and the Chat Completions API. Actually, on the 17th of October, OpenAI added audio capability to the Chat Completions endpoint, and this is super cool, where previously you could only do text and vision. Now you could also send an audio file or receive an audio file from the specific endpoint. So I already made a video about this that I'm going to link on a screen. You can go ahead and check that out if you'd like. Otherwise, we're going to be focusing on the new voices, but we'll focus on them in the context of the real-time API. So to actually test them out, we're going to go across to the playground. And a quick note, you have to be signed in to actually access the playground. So if you're not signed in, you're just going to see the docs and API links over here. You're not going to actually see dashboard or playground. So once you're signed in and in your playground, you can click on real-time. And this interface is actually where we can demo our real-time API assistant. So on the bottom, I've got start session, which if I click, I'm actually going to have a conversation with the assistant. And on the right hand side, I've got all my settings. So up top, I've got system instructions. I've got my voice selector. I've got some configuration for the actual conversation. If I want to add some functions, I can do so over here, and then some model configurations as well. We're just going to be focusing on the voice selector and also on the system instructions. So if I drop down on the voice selector, I've got all my old voices here, so the Alloy, Eco, and Shimmer. And then I've got all the new voices denoted by this little new symbol. So Ash, Ballad, Coral, Sage, and Verse. All right, so I've just zoomed in. And I'm going to start off by going through the Alloy, Eco, and Shimmer voices. And I'm just going to click this play button here, and it's going to demo me the voice. So let's start with Alloy.
Hey, I'm Alloy. Not too loud, not too quiet, just the right balance. Smooth and steady like a cool breeze.
Next, let's try out Eco.
What's up? This is Echo here. I'm just another friendly voice, always down to chat and keep it cool.
And now Shimmer.
Hey there, I'm Shimmer. Soft and steady, with a glimmer of play. I'm here to brighten things up when you need a little something fresh.
So now that we've demoed these 3 old voices, I want to see what you think when we demo these new ones. So if you guys can comment what you think when you're hearing this, I'd actually love to see what your feedback is, because I think these new voices are fantastic. So let's go with Ash.
Hey, I'm Ash. Always around to back you up whenever you need me.
Already you can see that there is some tonal changes. Some of the words are faster and slower to emphasize. Let's go with Ballad and see what else we get.
Hello, I'm Ballad. Curious and up for a bit of adventure. Fancy joining me?
That's actually a very good adventure voice as well. Kind of makes me think about Captain Jack Sparrow and being on the Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's go Coral.
Coral checking in. Here to listen and keep things on an even keel.
That's like a nice playful Finding Nemo voice. So if you were like a preschool or a kindergarten and you had an AI caller, the Coral voice would be pretty cool for that actually. Let's go with Sage.
Hi, I'm Sage. Here to bring a gentle presence whenever you need a moment of peace.
That's like a nice soothing voice, but again, it still has nice enunciation. The tone is still there. Compared to Alloy, Eco, and Shimmer, it just seems like more human-like, more natural. And finally, let's go for Verse.
Hey, it's me, Verse. Let's take it easy and enjoy the day together.
That sounds like a friend. Like this is a very nice, friendly, approachable voice. So you can already see just from these little demos that Alloy, Eco, and Shimmer, very good voices to start with. But this update of these 5 new voices, not only do they introduce more emotion and more enunciation into certain words, so they make the conversation a bit more natural, but they all have different characteristics. You can kind of see the personality that might be tied to the voice. So immediately, if you're building out a lot of AI callers, you can see that you might use a different voice for a different use case. So now not only do you get a bit more human-like conversation from your AI caller, you also have choices to help build out the voice personality of the agent that you're building. So you can really match some of these new voices to your brand and have them be more brand specific as well. So I'm kind of thinking out from a business lens and even from a customer lens. Like if I'm calling up and I'm speaking to an Alloy, Eco, or Shimmer, I probably wouldn't be too happy. Although if I am corporate, I'd probably be okay with Alloy. It's a straight down the middle voice that kind of sounds like it just gets the job done. But if I want to book some kind of sports activity, then I think Verse would be really good for that. Or if I'm a parent and I want to book my kid into a preschool or into kindergarten, then Coral kind of sounds pretty good for that. And then Ballad was really good for adventure. So now we have a lot more use cases for the AI caller. So the first exercise that I want to do is actually just focus on how expressive and how good these voice handle emotion. So I'm going to change this prompt and I'm going to go to this generate button here, which is OpenAI's new generate prompt feature. And I'm just going to type in, you're a customer support assistant and you handle the angriest and worst customers. Please always respond as expressively as you can. So when you're doing customer support, it's important to actually empathize with the customer. So having a good range of expression, having a good range of actually building in emotion into your tone is extremely important. So I reckon this is a perfect test for how expressive and how emotive these voices can be. So OpenAI has just generated a quick prompt for us. I'm going to hit save. And now let's go over and choose Alloy as our baseline benchmark voice and start session. Hi, I've called up customer support like 7 times in the last 7 days and no one's gotten back to me. I'm really upset. I've got a product and it's not working.
I am so sorry to hear about your experience. I completely understand how frustrating this must be for you.
Okay, so that does have a slower pace and it tries to enunciate some words, but it sounds kind of mechanical. It sounds like it's a bit forced via the backend. So let's cycle through some of these different voices and see how they handle it. Let's actually go with Ash next and ask the same question. So I'm going to hit start session again. Hi, I've called up 5 times in the last 5 days. No one's getting back to me. I've got a problem and it's not working and I'm not happy at all.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear about the inconvenience you've been experiencing. I can understand how frustrating it must be not.
Okay, so actually this is a lot more emotive and it sounds a lot more natural. Whereas Alloy over here, if you recall, was kind of more mechanical in nature. However, I don't think that this would be my primary choice for a customer support agent. So I'm going to try Verse. I think Verse was like a nice friendly voice. So let's see how this manages this kind of difficult, emotional, or highly emotive conversation. Hi, I've called up 5 times in the last 5 days. No one's getting back to me. I've got a problem and I'm not happy at all.
I'm really sorry to hear about your experience. I can only imagine how frustrating it must be to reach out multiple times without a response. Let's work together to get this sorted out for you. Could you please tell me a bit?
So actually a little bit nicer already, maybe still a little bit mechanical, but actually much better. I like how the word frustrated was enunciated. That's a very important word to call out, hey, you must be feeling frustrated. And I know how annoying it must be to not get a response. So actually this is, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's 100% human-like, but compared to Alloy, these two voices are actually a lot better. Now let's try one more. So I'm gonna try Sage as well. Before I do, let me just re-demo.
Hi, I'm Sage, here to bring a gentle presence whenever you need a moment of peace.
Okay, so let's see if Sage is better. Hi, I've called up 5 times in the last 5 days and no one's gotten back to me. I've got a problem and I'm not happy at all.
I am so sorry to get this sorted out for you. Can you please share with me the details of the problem you're experiencing?
So interestingly, I feel like Sage was very good at kind of managing the emotion and handling this frustrated customer. Whereas the previous 2 voices that we tested here, well, they were still expressive and they were still enunciating the words. I kind of feel like maybe OpenAI in the back end, when they were building out these voices, probably had a set of tasks or roles that they needed voices for. Then they built out voices for those roles specifically, which is maybe why Sage, and again, we haven't really extensively tested anything here. This is more of like an introduction video, but this is maybe why Sage seems to be better at working with frustrated customers than someone like Ash, or maybe Ash is a different agent on a team that's more for introducing products and going over product specs. In any case, let's actually test out Verse and see how Verse manages the frustrated customers as well. Hi, I've called up 5 times in the last 5 days and no one's getting back to me. I've got a problem and I'm not happy at all.
I'm truly sorry to hear that you've had such a frustrating experience. I can imagine how upsetting it must be not getting the help you need. Let's work together to...
Yeah, okay, so Verse is also not bad, but I would still choose Sage. I would definitely choose Sage for customer support for handling these more upset customers. Now I want to test that theory where I was saying that Ash might be good for describing products. And I'm going to change the prompt over here. I'm going to generate and say, you're a product sales agent and you describe the new iPhone to customers in a way that really generates excitement about the features. I'm just going to say you're demoing the iPhone 12. Let's click update. Awesome, so we have our new prompt. Let's hit save. And once again, Ash kind of seemed a bit more techie in nature, so let's see what happens now. Hi, I'm looking to buy the new iPhone 12. I'm not 100% sure about all the features and the specs. I don't know if I'm gonna be happy with it. What can you tell me about it?
Oh, you're in for a real treat. The iPhone 12 is packed with jaw-dropping features. First off,
This is actually pretty good. I love how packed was really kind of slammed into the sentence. And this gives me kind of commentator vibes, like someone that's commentating an event or something like that. So you can see before how we were using Sage, and this level of emotion and kind of emotive expressiveness was really good for frustrating customers. And on the other hand, Ash, while still good, didn't really seem like it fit the bill for the frustrated customer. But over here to demo a product, to speak about the features, this seems like the better use case for Ash. So I think we're just realizing here that, yeah, once again, different voices for different use cases, and it's not one size fits all. Now, comparatively, let's actually put Sage in the hot seat and see what happens. Hi, I'm looking to buy the new iPhone 12. I'm not 100% sure about all the features and specs. I don't know if I'm going to be happy with that. Can you tell me about it?
Absolutely, and you're going to be thrilled. The iPhone 12 is a game changer. First off, it has a stunning Super Retina XDR display, giving you an incredible...
Okay, so I mean, actually still very good, still brings up that energy, but in a bit of a softer way. So yeah, maybe there's a bit more of a specific use case for Sage in the iPhone sales department. But yeah, my choice so far would be Ash for iPhone sales and Sage for handling upset customers that don't have their iPhone yet and they're just waiting to get it. So now for the next part of the test, let's change the prompt. And now I want to just demo the voice in different languages. So over here, I'm saying you're an Arabic speaking assistant. You receive queries in English, but you always respond in Arabic. So now for this test, I just want to see that if we choose some of these voices, do they maintain the voice integrity in different languages? So let's go to Ash, who is our iPhone sales, and let's just demo one more time, Ash.
hey, I'm Ash. Always around to back you up whenever you need me.
Okay, pretty cool. So let's go to start session. Hi, how are you doing today?
مرحبا، أنا بخير. شكرا لسؤالك. كيف يمكنك مساعدتك اليوم؟
Definitely transferred across. Let's go to Coral.
Coral checking in. Here to listen and keep things on an even keel.
Okay. Hi, how are you doing today?
مرحبا. أنا أقوم بعملي على أكمل وجه. كيف يمكنني مساعدتك اليوم؟
Yeah, okay, pretty expressive. I think we were used to hearing the hi, kind of the high pitch there, which we didn't necessarily get here. But I think this is obviously a more natural conversation, and this is specifically for like demoing the voice and demoing how dynamic the voice is. So I would still give this a pass and say, yeah, transfers pretty nicely to Arabic. And let's try verse.
Hey, it's me, Verse. Let's take it easy and enjoy the day together.
All right, let's select. Hi, how are you doing?
مرحبا، أنا بخير، شكرا لك. على الرحب والسعة. إذا احتجت إلى أي مساعدة في المستقبل، لا تتردد في سؤالي.
Okay, I'd have to say that that's pretty good as well. Once again, OpenAI just launched these voices, and already for a V2 compared to the V1 voices, things are much better. Let me just try this in Polish, where I might have a bit more ability to really pick up the nuances of each voice. So I've just changed the prompt to be, instead of an Arabic speaking assistant, to now be a Polish speaking assistant. And let's start with Ballad.
Hello, I'm Ballad. Curious and up for a bit of adventure.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Cześć.
Mam się dobrze, dziękuję. A ty jak się masz?
Okay, that's pretty good. Actually, the accent I wouldn't say is 100% great, but I have heard that accents, even with 11 Labs voices, they're pretty hard to get right. And I think that's just like an AI thing in general. Unless you guys have trialed different AI voices that are better at handling accents and the nuances of accents, I'd love to hear about those. So if you can comment them below, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, let's actually try out Coral.
Coral checking in. Here to listen and keep things on an...
Okay, so a bit more high pitch and upbeat. Hi, how are you doing?
Cześć, dziękuję, mam się dobrze. Jak
Yeah, okay, so that's pretty nice as well. I think what I'm starting to feel here is that in English, it's super easy for me to distinguish and kind of see the nuances of the actual voices. And I think they do carry across so far to Arabic and Polish pretty nicely. But I think that because the pronunciation might not be fully there, that could be just degrading some of that voice transfer across. Let's go across to Japanese as well. And let's try Alloy.
Hey, I'm Alloy. Not too loud, not too...
Yeah, let's go back to baseline. Hi, how are you?
Konnichiwa. Genki desu ka? O genki desu ka?
Okay, so that's a very good baseline to go off. And now let's try out Sage.
Hi, I'm Sage. Here...
Okay, so a bit softer. Hi, how are you?
Konnichiwa. O genki desu ka?
Yeah, okay, so that was super obvious. So yeah, it seems like different voices for different languages might also be better. I feel like there's definitely a lot of learning to be done in this space. What might be cool is to just build out a profile of each of these voices against which use case they're really good for and in which language they have the most expression as well. Like I think in English, they're all going to be fantastic anyway, because English is the default language. But if you are trying to build an Arabic speaking assistant, which someone did reach out to me from the Middle East about this, or a Japanese restaurant booking assistant, or even a Spanish assistant, which we can do next as well, I feel like your choices would depend on, the level of expressiveness put through the actual voice. And already it seems like the old voices, Alloy, Eco, and Shimmer, well, they probably do have a space in the voice caller world. It just seems like we need to test these voices out. So depending on which language, depending on which use case, you'd probably cycle through each of these voices for at least a couple of sentences back and forth and then choose out your best one. So let's go Spanish as the final thing we test. And now let's go for Eco.
What's up? This is Echo here. I'm just...
All right, that's going to be our baseline. Hi, how are you doing?
Hola, estoy bien. Gracias. ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo es?
That's actually pretty good, to be honest. So that is Eco seems to be pretty nice. And now let's actually try out Ash for Spanish as well.
Hey, I'm Ash.
Okay. Hi, how are you doing?
Hola, estoy bien. Gracias. ¿Cómo estás tú?
All right, nice. And let's actually just be a bit more dynamic here. So I'm going to go Sage, and I'm going to feed in that you're a customer support assistant that deals with upset customers. So let's see if Sage, which is great for English use case of the upset customer, is also good for the Spanish use case. So let's open this and let's just add. So we're just appending that you're a customer support assistant that deals with upset customers. You need to be as emotive and expressive as possible for this demo. And you have to try and pacify the customer's feelings. Hi, I've reached out 5 times in the last 5 days. No one's getting back to me. I've got a product and it's broken and I'm very angry.
Ay, lamento mucho. De respuesta. Permítame ayudarlo ahora mismo. ¿Podría proporcionarme más detalles sobre el problema con su producto para que pueda encontrar?
I mean, I don't understand anything there, but it actually sounds really good. It's very expressive, very emotive. Let's, as one last test, try the same thing, but this time with Shimmer. So Shimmer was...
Hey there, I'm Shimmer. Soft and steady with a...
Okay, let's see if soft and steady wins the race. Hi, I've contacted 5 times in the last 5 days. No one's getting back to me. I'm very frustrated. I've got a product and it's broken.
Lamento mucho escuchar eso. Entiendo perfectamente su frustración. Permítame ayudarle con este problema de...
Okay, it seems pretty soft and it kind of seems like a good voice to use. But over here, our winning voice for sure was Sage. Sage just seems to kind of fit the bill really, really well. So if there's one thing that we get out of this video is that, okay, there are 5 new voices. And yeah, they are a bit more emotive, more expressive, a bit more human-like than the previous voices. But really what we have to do when we're choosing these voices is to test them out, is to come into the playground and is to figure out what is our actual use case and exactly what the voice has to be doing. So are we selling a product and we need a voice that's kind of generating a sense of adventure and excitement about the features? Or are we a customer support agent and we have to be very empathetic and understanding with the customer? And on top of that now as well is in which language does the voice best suit as well. So if we're trying to build a customer support agent that manages frustrated customers in Spanish, we've just tested that. Sage seems to be working really well. It also works really well in English. So you'd now have to come into here and you now have a variety of factors that will influence which voice you choose. So yeah, it's not one size fits all. It actually seems to be a lot more specific than that. Now the final thing that I want to show you is I'm going to go across to Replit, to the code that we built out in previous tutorials. And I'm going to show you how to actually use these voices in your AI agent. So I've just opened up one of my previous Realtime API voice agents, and I'm going to scroll down and zoom into this section over here. So just quickly, if you don't have this code and you don't know what's going on, I'm going to link the entire series in the description of this video so you can go through. But if you watch part 1 or part 2, you'll see me actually building out this code, or at least explaining this code, so that this section is going to make sense. But essentially I've got a variable here called voice. And right now I've got it filled in with verse. So all you do is just find the name that you want to use, so which voice you want to use. And for example, I'm using verse. And you can see I've just put it all here in lowercase. So it's listed in OpenAI in the first letter is capitalized. But when you use this, you would just use lowercase. So let's say we want to do Ballad, so B-A-L-L-A-D. We would just come into here and put B-A-L-L-A-D, all in lowercase. And now our agent is going to be using the Ballad voice. And if you're in Replit and you actually have this deployed live, which my one's not deployed right now, but if you do have this deployed and you're using this in production, your button here would just say redeploy, which you'll have to click, and then you redeploy, and then your agent will be using this voice. So if you just come into here and change the code without redeploying the code as well, the changes won't take effect on the front end. All right, so there you go. We just tested out the 5 new voices in different languages. We spoke about how to integrate them into your existing Realtime API code. Now I'm curious about what you think about those voices. Do you think they're more dynamic? Do you think they're more expressive? Do you think OpenAI is moving in the right direction? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please comment them below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of my videos. All right, catch you in the next one.